This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Greetings and a very warm welcome to you in the Masai Mara of Kenya. We have a very beautiful sunrise. Welcome aboard to your very own safari, live from the African wilderness. Good morning and a very warm welcome to you in the Masai Mara of Kenya. We have a very beautiful sunrise. My name is Tim, and behind camera we have Big James. Very nice weather, 14 degrees Celsius, about 58 degrees Fahrenheit. I can hear lots of birds chirping this morning. I can hear the cocky francolin, I can hear sandgrouse, I can hear sparfowls, and over in the distance I can hear hyenas. That's a very nice and beautiful sunrise. Remember, we're coming to you live. For your question and comments, hashtag WildEarth. For our young viewers, kids questions at wildearth.tv. On the YouTube comment section at FC. Give us your comments or questions and we'll be ready to answer that for you. Just a moment of silence to sink this in. Very beautiful morning. MJ, the sunrise never disappoints. I agree totally with you, 100%. What a beautiful morning. So this morning I'll be trying to find an update of our lions yesterday. The ones that were being fussy with the old male. See what they're up to, if the male was able to be habituate them, or maybe they became friendly or not, whether they hunted or not. As I try to find something else. Seems like a very nice morning. I can hear elephants trumpeting, screaming. Seems quiet at the moment. Nothing I can see at all here. So I'll be driving off to find something else. On my mission to find the lions and to give you an update, I'll send you over to another live location.
Well, jumbo everyone, and a very good morning. Sorry about that, it's gonna be very short, but I am here and you cannot believe what I just came across. This is another side of the Mara. Not very far from where Tim is, but there is a lioness here and she's got one tiny little cub. I hope she will present it to us or show it to us shortly. She, it's really calling, it's moving around close to her. I don't know if it will come out towards us, but if you can see it, it's very close to her. But just before we continue, well, Jumbo, my name is Isaac, and on camera I have Bungay. Welcome to our morning, safari. We are here. My aim was to look for lions, but I came across this lone lioness that has just, shown us her tiny little cub. It's less than 2 months. It can really walk. It's somewhere in the long grass there. I don't know if it's the one we can see. You see Bungay on the right-hand side there? Yeah, I can see something. That's the mother there. But I'm hoping, we can see the cub. The cub is right there. It's less than 2 months old. My mission this morning is to look for lions. I was hoping to go to River Pride, see if I can find the cubs. But I've come across this Olololo lioness, and she's got one tiny little one. Remember to talk to us on hashtag WildEarth. Questions and comments are very, very welcome. You can also send in your kids' questions at WildEarth. .tv, and our weather this morning is 14 degrees Celsius. It's not as bad, but because the sun is out. This girl is the one that appeared last night, and it was being submissive to Olalashe. I doubt if she is the one that was mating. It was a different one. I haven't seen this one, and looks like she has been hiding this cub in plain eyesight, because this is the same area we've been game driving every day. She's been very good in hiding the little cub, from us. And I don't know why nobody noticed her. We could be the first people to see it. And I'm hoping that I can share, this little joy, that we just found this morning. It's so tiny, it can hardly walk. I don't know if she's going to get comfortable and pull it out for us. But definitely the father is Olalashe, because looking at the timeline when he came and took over the Olololo Pride, it means this is one of his offsprings. Yeah, let's see if we can see the little guy. I'm hoping the mom can relax, and so we can see the tiny little guy. You can see the mother there. She's not moving much. They walked a little bit, and I think, she is giving the cub some time to rest. Is that Selseski? Sorry, Jumbo. You ask if it's rare to give one cub? No, it's not. They have been known to give birth to up to one. And especially when they are not very experienced mothers, like it's their first time, they will give birth to one. And it's not always they give birth to one, maybe 3, but those few didn't make it. And that's why we see one only. Over here, I can say that I did see one, but maybe she gave birth to 2 or 3, but they didn't make it because it's been raining. And also, we have a lot of hyenas around, and there's been a lot of lions going in and out of this area. So I'm not quite sure if she gave birth to only one. She's lying right there. It's really hard to pinpoint her, but she's in front of that bush. They were walking on the track, then they left the track, and I think she's giving the little guy some little bit of time to rest, and then they'll come out. Yes, so I'm gonna stick here. Hopefully they'll come out for us, and I can share this bundle of joy with you. Let me give you this chance to one of my other guides to introduce him or herself.
Well, that would be just an amazing start to the morning to see a lion cub. However, we don't have a lion cub. We've got a rather large southern red-billed hornbill that has now flown away, but we'll find some more because there's a whole bunch of them. My name is Taylor McCurdy, and on camera with me today is Sebastian Romby, as he has been every other day here at Pridelands, which is part of Tswalu Game Reserve and the Greater Kruger. What we are going to do is I'm going to swing around. Let's quickly, because all the other birds have now flown away. But I'm sure you can see it's very dark and it's quite gloomy here today. It's been drizzling for the last couple of hours, but not anything too hectic. You can see, look at those grey clouds. They should lift because it is going to get to about 32 degrees Celsius a little bit later. So we're definitely going to be in for some heat. Stay, hornbill. There's one right on the road, but you know what these birds are like. They've got wings, and they tend to use them quite frequently. But maybe there'll be something that'll keep it occupied there. So that, like I said, is the southern red-billed hornbill. And I think with it being a little bit damp, you can see this one is a little bit on the wet side, as that there might be lots of little insects that have come out. So we'll see what they start eating. Definitely last night, there were lots and lots of insects around in varying forms, but most of them are nocturnal, so they probably would be seeking some shelter from the heat of the day. Maybe they'll still be a little bit active because it is so cool. But I reckon that the hornbill is going to be going for things like ants and termites, which I'm sure there are plenty of in this area. And I wanted to tell you, the other day, we tried to show you, but we just couldn't quite get it right. We had a Temminck's Corsa, which is quite a cool little bird that we don't get to see all the time. So I'm going to keep an eye out for it on this open area too. Now, it is, of course, breeding season for the hornbills, which is exciting. I don't know if you've been able to see some nests with the other safari guides. Maybe they were able to show you some. But that's what I've been trying to find. Sib and I have been trying to look for an active nest with an easy entrance that we can sort of see in and watch it. But we haven't been so lucky. They seem to be just too far off the road. But they'll be very, very busy at the moment. So the males will have to feed not just himself, but also the females. But we won't go too much into that breeding behavior until, well, we actually see it. But maybe that's something that we can look out for today in and around camp, something that's close by. But this bird with his sort of very drab, damp feathers is going to continue pecking through the grass, looking for something to eat, and I think we're going to go off and try and find a nest.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Djuma Private Game Reserve here in Sabi in Lawfield this morning. See, sitting on a temperature of 19 degrees 67 Fahrenheit. And my name's this morning Andrew, and on camera I have Morgan. So yeah, this is the beginning of the drive. We're going to take you to Hyena, which we just arrived in this very hyena den, and it's active, which is so beautiful. Here's looks like two adults that they're out at the moment. I'm not sure. They're actually not close to the den at all. So we're on the eastern side of the den right now. We can see the den where it is from here. But they decided to actually give a little bit of a break to the young one. I'm 100% sure that's the mound that we're looking at right there. But the young one won't come out until they receive a contact call. This is when these adults move towards that mound and all of a sudden sniff around and check for safety before they do that. And this is where and then young one will be called out to come out and see the beauty of the morning. It's cloudy this morning and it's not actually cold, so it's just kind of very nice, I think, for all animals, you know, carnivore species and also impalas, everybody. That's actually very good condition for them to be able to be mobile and do their thing without getting any exhausted by the temperatures or anything. We're looking at the spotted hyena at the moment. Just can't actually able to identify them, but I'll probably try identify them when they up. See how they just kind of like even forget that we're around here. It's one of the best things about wild animals. When they grew up around with a lot of company as car coming into them, and all finally grow up with them and their mind that this is not a threat. You can see that hyena is actually closing its eyes, so it's all about trust. It's all about every time they see cars, it's not a problem. They don't go, the car doesn't actually get them frightened out. But the ears, you know, all animals, when they do sleep, they have a different way of sleep than human. Oh, you can see a little bit of eyes there. So especially that ears that are touched to the ground, that's very more sensitive in terms of picking up any movement from the ground. So footstep, consulting detective, thank you so much. So this is a ribbon, thank you very much for that. And I was just, about to recheck, but thank you very much for that, it's very helpful. So yeah, well, it comes in a time where they'll be probably when they want to. This is when they want to. I'm not sure what time they get here. Sometimes it happens when they get to the den. Before they go to the den, they take a lot more time, but away from the den. But I can tell you for sure, I've seen with the lions, when the pride doesn't want to spend more time with the baby because every time they have to give milk to them, and they all get tired of that. And I'm gonna stay here, see what this hyena is gonna do, and I'm gonna take you to another safari life.
Well, I've moved slightly, and now we have a full view of the lioness. The little guy, I think, is suckling, and I'm hoping that he is done soon so he can show himself to us. But definitely, there is a young one that I'm really looking forward to showing you. Very, very young. Always very cute when they're that young. It's hard to believe that when they get, older, they'll be fierce and dangerous. It is another very wonderful and beautiful morning here in the Masai Mara, and looks like we're going to have a very hot day. We are in the Olololo, Pride's territory, and this is one of the female. She's got one secret she needs to reveal to us, as I was thinking in the last few days. So hopefully this is the day. That is a very, prickly acacia that she has hidden the young one into. Jambo Sasikazi, at what age will a lioness stop breeding? Well, very good question. They live for 15 years in the wild, and they are at their prime from the age of about 5 to around 9. So I've never heard of a lioness giving birth from the age of about 13, 14, and also it's very rare to find a lioness that old. There are very few. So according to my experience, about 9, 10, she'll give birth. After that, I think it's very, very tricky, to find a lioness older than that with cubs. She might stick with the pride, but she will not produce. I have seen some old lionesses, staying with the pride, but not producing, cubs. So around the age of 10, I would say, although historically and scientifically, it's not known if, they reach menopause, but around 9 and 10 years, they'll stop, producing. This girl here is approximately about 6, 7. So she's still in her prime. And the same area we are in 2018, we had, about 3 cubs born here, but they are the same ones that got killed by the River Pride when they collided, close, to the edge of their territory. The 2 territories met, and 3 of the cubs were killed. They were born just around here. So maybe we should name this area Maternity, because it's a beautiful area. It's got a very deep canyon, and so they can hide the little ones there, and they can hide them from extreme sunlight. Also, there's these thick bushes that they can penetrate in and give birth. I'm gonna stay here for a little bit longer. I'm hoping to see that little cub.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a misty and drizzly morning here at andBeyond Phinda Private Game Reserve. We have found ourselves a herd of zebra that have come to drink at this small waterhole. My name is Ross, and behind the camera is Gerrit, And today our plan is to go off into these open areas in the south of the reserve to look for cheetah. And cheetah do love this area for a number of reasons. It's beautiful and open, and they can spot prey easily and feel very safe from predators such as lion like that, because they also are at risk of being attacked by lions as well. So as these zebra wander off away into the grasslands, we're going to keep going in the same direction as them and scan the hillsides, look for tracks, for any signs of cheetah. We'll also bump into, or hope to bump into, some other animals and interesting things along the way. But look at these zebras starting to trot. Maybe something gave them a little bit of a fright. But we're going to carry on going, follow these zebras. See, having some technical difficulties with the vehicle here. No power. Ish. Sometimes this, here we go, life. Sometimes in the bush we do have these kind of problems. Hopefully that doesn't happen when there's a herd of elephants bearing down on you. Here the zebra, and it looks like they are retreating into the shade of those trees as it starts to rain a little bit harder. I don't know if they like the rain as much as a hippo or elephant might appreciate it. But we are going to send you off to another live location and carry on in search of cheetah.
Good morning and welcome to the Kalahari. A beautiful, very beautiful sunrise with the clouds just over the mountains. And behind the camera here we've got David and myself, OB as everybody calls me. We were just hoping that around the dunes where we are, there has been a bit of bed-eared foxes. We're hoping that we might catch them, and from there we'll start heading a little bit more southeast, see if we can find some cheetah cubs and so on. So that's the plan for today, folks. Let's see how this morning will provide. Actually, if we look to the right of the bush, there is a bed-eared fox just coming out in the distance there. It looks like just one of the pups. Well done, folks. Well done. Just what we were hoping for. These are very iconic creatures of the Kalahari. Actually, they mark part of the elusive five also to the Kalahari. So these are bed-eared foxes. Looks like two pups, if I'm not mistaken. So the den site could be very close by. Unfortunately, they are moving away from us, but that's exactly what we were hoping for. Thank you very much, everybody. Hope to see more of me. Yeah, folks, they've just left us. I think we are going to start slowly moving on and catching with the program for the day, as we just said that we'll look for cheetahs and so on. And look at that beautiful sunrise over the mountain. Wow.
Sunrise. Thanks, Min. When I heard about sunrise, which is one of this beauty of Africa, especially early in the morning, if you have a very good view of it. Here we're sitting under a cloud with this beautiful clan of a Djuma, Hyena, and they haven't started actually, they haven't done much, and they're still doing their best of sleeping. So you find they have traveled much longer, or the whole night hunting. These guys are all scattered all over, hunt, greet all their members out there as they meet up. But since they're taking care of their young one, which most of the time females are responsible for the den and taking care of their young one, many of the time male doesn't actually play any role in a den if it happens. But yeah, they don't really do that. Kind of probably licking itself. Good morning, new stuff. You want to know if your hyena dreams. So I think most animals, they do have a dream. I believe so. From dogs, from cats, cows, all of the herbivore species. Could be also same as the birds as well, vultures and the eagles and those. But I'm not kind of 100% sure whether they attack it serious about their dreams or not at all. So, but they definitely have a dream. So they probably dream when they're sleeping, as we do. But we humans, so we all remember what was happening, what was all about the dreams, or it means something, whether for them it means something or not. But that I'm not sure, but they do have dreams. So that one is up, trying to lick itself, clean up. So every time, well, it's kind of like it's been a little bit of a drizzling. Last night, not much. It's just a little spitting. And of course, if that's the case, their skin is slightly wet and all fleas, everything's going to do a lot of itchiness on their body. I'm going to stay here one more time while I'm taking you to another guide who will be showing you a beauty of African wild.
Welcome back to Tswalu Kalahari. Andrew with your hyenas there, a little bit jealous, but we're also showing off a little bit of how dramatic the Kalahari sunrise can be. I mean, you just saw us earlier when the sun was just above the mountains, and look at how the colors have changed just in a couple of minutes. It just shows the radiation from the red swells of the Kalahari to the clouds and so on. It's a beautiful, beautiful morning here in the Kalahari. And one can tell it's gonna be a scorcher today. If these clouds disappear now, then the sun rises or gets higher and higher, it's gonna be a scorcher. So, a typical Kalahari day. Look at how the oranges, the purple, it keeps changing every minute. Every minute it's changing. It's like a coloring book getting colored. Lance, the elusive five are the iconic animals of the Kalahari. We've come with the term elusive because you don't really get to see them elsewhere. It's your aardvark, your pangolin, your aardwolf, your bat-eared fox. So those would be the elusive. And they're so elusive because some of them actually do get active just after the sun has gone down, so chances of seeing them becomes a little bit hard. And even today, there's not much known about them. They're still being studied up to today. And that's what makes them so elusive. I mean, you can take it from that term. It's just a fascination about them that everybody wants to know them. Everybody wants to see them. I mean, I know guys that have been guiding for 15, maybe 20 years that have never seen a pangolin in their career. And here at Tswalu Kalahari, we get to see that on the norm. So you can imagine why we call them the elusive. So that's basically where the term elusive comes from. But a very good question. Thank you, Peter. I've got a philosophy that I will always chase sunrises and sunsets. It has something deep down in me that speaks to me, to my soul, to everything. So, yes, I do agree with you. A very powerful morning. These elements really have a way of touching us from within. Folks, before it gets too warm, I think we are gonna start moving on and see if we can catch up with our plan. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Mara, and this time round we've come across the riverbed lionesses, and they've positioned themselves strategically on the road. We have about 5 lionesses. One is close to us, and over in the distance we can see 3. There's one there, and another one is just hiding in the rest are hiding in the long grasses. So it looks like they wanted to hunt, or maybe failed, because of how they've positioned. I can see some toppies not far from here, but there's some crested crane who are alarming and giving a very loud call as soon as this land tried to approach those toppies. See, that one is up. See, the other one is also up. Because of their sharp eyes, we can't really tell what they can see. But I'm sure she will lead us to where she's maybe located prey, or maybe going back to the den, because this pride has 4 crabs, which has been entertaining us for the last 3 weeks. But of late we haven't seen the cubs, but we'll be happy to see if they'll take us back to the den, or maybe bring the cubs out. He's approaching a tree. I'm not sure he's going. Oh, there was a vulture up in the tree. Getting some scent there. Thank you so much for your question. Lionesses will be in season after every 2 years. After successfully winning their cubs, a lioness will come into season, which is 2 years. Unfortunately, sometimes the cubs get killed by a lion or a male intruder who comes to take over the pride. And if the cubs were too small, they'll then end up being killed. So that will forcibly take or bring the lioness into season, which will be about 3 to 4 weeks. So generally, a lioness will come into season after 2 years. The other lioness is following. Kobish is trying to give the other one some sign language, whether, do you want to follow me or not? He is due in the grass and it was a very cold morning. That's why you can see that one sitting on the road. And the sun is not too hot. Actually, they're enjoying the sun. So, by the look of it, yesterday it was a very chilly night and it's a chilly morning. You find that lionesses will bring their cubs to warm up in this bright sun. So, because they don't have the cubs here, I think they were on a mission to hunt because of the way they've positioned themselves. Whatever they were going for escaped. Because these lionesses look like they want to hunt, I will sit here and wait as I take you over to another live location.
Good morning and welcome to andBeyond in Ngala. In the riverbed currently looking for lions, we've come across an amazing view of a pair of Varro's eagle owls. They are one of the bigger owls that we have around here, or the biggest owl in fact, and are formidable predators. Good morning, my name is Dan, and on the camera we've got OD. And this morning what we're doing is we're hanging around in the riverbed and looking where the rest of the pride were last night. Sure, they're on the hunt as well. Apparently all 18 of them were all together, and we're going to carry on looking around, maybe around here. These owls, have a look. I mean, Odie's going to zoom right on the one on the right-hand side we're going in on now, I think is an adult. Can you hear that high-pitched screeching? That's actually from the chick. One on the left, making that noise is the chick, almost shout. Can you see the color of that one's eyelids when it blinks? Careful look out. They're actually, in fact, pink with those black, very distinctive, almost semicircles on the side of its face. Can't remember the last time I actually got so close. Such a good view, pair of them. Saw them flying down the river, actually almost being chased by a whole flock of grey go-away birds. They'll try and pick quite a thick canopy to spend the day, and they'll spend most of their evenings hunting and looking for food. Even take prey up to small monkeys, small mammals. That chick, lots of noise, begging the parent for some food. This is a reasonably covered tree. I think they may even move along the riverbed, picking an even thicker one, try and avoid attention from all the other birds, because all the other birds mob them, make a lot of noise, try and chase them out of the area, being such a predator.
Oh, welcome back, folks. We just wanted to catch up with you guys with the foxes here, a better of up close with the adults. These are the bat-eared foxes, but very, very shy animals. As you guys can see, we just wanted to give you that opportunity to have a close-up on the adults. But yeah, very, very, very shy, and off they go. There they are. Beautiful job there, Dave. Thank you. Yeah, they're very, very, very shy. I mean, we got a question earlier about why elusive, and part of that behavior, you can see why they're so elusive. Very shy animals. So
So yeah, I think we'll keep on moving, guys. We just wanted to give you that sneak preview. Thank you very much.
Welcome back to the Mara. Our lions are not yet active. They're just sitting here. Seems like regaining back some energy after a failed attempt. Definitely these lions were after something because of how they've positioned themselves. So when lions are doing a coordinated attack or hunt, they'll position themselves strategically where those ones that are going to flash out prey and those ones that will wait to attack. So by the look of it, the two that were in front were actually the lead, maybe trying to flash prey to the three waiting lionesses. She's scanning the area, and if they happen to locate prey, they'll definitely head that direction. Louise, thank you for your question. Can lions climb a tree? Yes, they can climb a tree, but not a very straight tree, but a diagonal and a very low bending tree. They can be able to. I've seen lions here in the Mara. I've seen lions in the Serengeti climbing trees. And in places where it's infested with tsetse flies, you find lions have adapted to climbing those kind of trees. Yes, lions can climb, but they're not specialized like leopards, how they climb trees. There's a facial rubbing. That kind of grooming also enhances the bond between family members. That's a sign of greeting. They seem not yet to be active that much, but I'm sure these lions are up to something, and that is maybe a hunt. So I'm going to sit here, wait for them to be on the move as I take you over to another live location.
Well, I have moved slightly from where you saw me earlier, and I had a very good view of both mother and cub, and believe me, they are playing tricks on me. When you're just about, to come, when I'm just about to come live, so you can see what I'm watching, she goes down. It's like she has learned English and she knows I'm about to show her to, or reveal her to everybody else. She lies down. She's right in front of us. Where we're looking, she's lying down flat. That grass there, it's like a thick sponge, and she just disappeared on me. Believe me, where you see that yellow flower, she is right there. And you might be laughing, saying, Isaac, is, has been doing something else, but I believe me, she is there. But it was a very nice sighting of her. She's got that tiny little one, and it was suckling, then it moved around, and they are lying right there. And my mission is still to stick around here and Jumbo. Yeah, you'd like to know, when cubs start eating meat, they will start eating meat from the age of about 2 to 3 months. That is when first they're introduced to their first meat. And before that, they'll be drinking and drinking milk only. Then after they start eating meat, 2 to 3 months. And the quicker they start eating solids and the more they get it, also the earlier they get wind because they don't need to drink. But right now, the little guy who is lying somewhere there, definitely there because I know it's there, it's still drinking. It's a beautiful little one. I'm hoping that, we're going to see her. And I'm going to share the sighting with you. Well, let me take you to another sighting, but I'm sure when, she shows up, we'll be able to share the sighting with you.
Good luck, Isaac, out there with these lines. So we're still in this last position where you guys left us, with this beautiful hyena there, and there's a robin. So the other one moved close to us, and then, like I just said earlier, that they're so comfortable with the vehicle. So one came right close to the vehicle on my right hand side. We can't even pan camera to it because it's close to the wheel, unless if it does move. So I don't want to move right now until decided to move away. And could be that a lot of members, they still out there hunting, because these guys are always behind big cats, but they can hunt on their own. A benefit when it comes to that, this is where they are very much looking for when they go for chase. Many times they would look for a weaker animal to be bring down, or those already broken legs, and these cannot able to keep up or cannot able to help themselves. These guys are there to finish it off. But of course, not only that, they can kill animals. These are healthy. You see them going for a young zebra, going for a waterbuck in some places where they're traveling in such packs, big packs. You see they're all like 15, 20 together. Oh, now it's just an open eye just to check if everything's still safe. So we're talking about their hearing when they touch the ground, and of course there is a lot of benefit in terms of receiving a lot of frequency from different area, footstep from way distances. Whatever touch the ground is whatever move through these bushes, and that ears that is on the ground, it would feel really by vibration, and then of course from there that animal will raise the head and trying to look around. Sometimes some of the footstep or whatever they hear, they can even judge at least the distance of estimate how far could be that. So it's similar when they're hunting. They hunt by smells, hunt by sight, also listening. But when it comes to smell where the prey was, they were able to that deduct, and of course they use this kind of like sense of smell, which is linked to the pheromone, or top of the roof. That's where there's all information has been recorded, and then sorry, do you mind repeat that question again? Good morning. Jolly Whiskey. I think I had your well name there. A matriarch, the main idea for matriarch, it's all about leading this group, of course, for sure. But when it comes to, switching place to another, also ideally of her own decision. But all the same things apply to when it comes to the scavenging. Everybody does the same. So there is a power. She would have power to actually drop off whatever it's going to kill, if it's possible, leopard, one of the small cats out there. And a lot of times been driven even by one young hyena because they build with such a massive jaws and these very strong teeth they got. And sometimes if that leopard won't give away, the hyena will be brave enough to actually feed from one other side while the leopard's eating from another side. So these scavenging things, it's all about understanding this, what they scavenge towards, what they're taking the meat from. So if it's aligned, of course, maybe no chance for a single hyena to approach that scene or take away. So matriarch, it's all about, control of this clan and then make sure they all controlled, understanding that sometimes they can be separated far apart. And then all they do, they will finally get around because their decision, when she don't move out of here permanently, then everybody will be able to recognize the same spot since they haven't actually having a confirmation from her that this is going to be any change, we're moving somewhere else. But then, change from time to time where, if it happens here, the fillies take place, is they all parasite with a young one. They won't be comfortable, so she'll lead or make sure that she's going to activate some of the other den around. It's got to be a few dens that are available for them to switch to, if it's possible. So they don't actually have one den always, but that's actually main job for matriarch. So she's the leader. She's also leading not only the females, but other males. The females are leading males too. So males don't play more roles or anything. They're only, participating on mating, and of course, they got to be there somehow when they meet up there to reproduce or reproduction take place. And this one here, I think Zentima, the other one, trying to bite on my shoe, so it's one of these things that happen. Like I say, close to me anyway, the camera cannot film this one, but it will be very interesting to see what this one doing on my shoe. So I'll give another time here, and just to see what this beautiful hyena doing to us while I'm taking you to another safari live.
From the hyenas who are really scavenge after the lions are made a king. So these lions want to go out on a hunt, and I'm sure later on hyenas will be joining. But it looks like a big pride, so I'm not sure if they'll welcome the hyenas. They're still seated on the termite mound. It's a little bit warm there. They're carrying on scanning to locate prey. I can see one of the lionesses is mobile. She's just close to us here, and she seems like she's scanning a lot. We can see some topies. Look, she's just close to the vehicle here. And the rest are sleeping there. But if one locates prey and start moving, definitely the rest will follow. Although lioness or lions are known to hunt during the night, but if they're so hungry during the day or in the morning, like this cooler parts of the morning, they'll go out on a hunt. But if an opportunity pays off, they'll definitely go after it. And because they have tiny cubs, they have to nurse them, so they need to go out on a hunt on a regular basis, maybe once or every 2 days. Thank you so much for your question. Sometimes you find that in a pride there can be about 3-4 males, depends. But I'll generally say mostly you find 2 males. But here we've seen only 1 male or 1 in every pride. So it depends with the coalition. But generally you have about 1 or maybe 2. She's on the move now. Let's see if the rest will join, because it seems like they're actually going after something. And if they locate prey, I want or would love to see how they coordinate that attack. So I think I'll position to watch the other lion who's mobile. So I'll take you over to another live location as I try to position myself to see where the other lioness is going to.
Wow, it sounds very tense, that side with Tim, and I hope he has some luck with those lions and that they do end up giving us a bit of a show. Here we found a huge herd of buffalo on the top of one of these grassy hills at andBeyond Phinda, and what a beautiful scene this is. The misty hills in the background, buffaloes slowly, having just gotten up for the day, starting to feed. It's almost like a scene out of Jurassic Park. And you can see the weather at Phinda here is just this misty, drizzly, gloomy kind of day. And it's quite late for these buffaloes to have only just gotten moving now. They would have spent the night here. And I think if you can see, there's just some sets of horns that you can barely see poking up above the grass. There's even some buffaloes that are still sleeping from this evening. But they've slowly arisen. It takes them normally quite a while to all get up and mill around, start to feed, and then set off in a direction. Probably takes them about half an hour. But this cool weather is definitely in their favor today. They can definitely get up a bit later and graze for longer into the morning and into the afternoon, because the sun won't be as energy sapping on them. Look at this one. He's not moving for love or money, still waiting for the herd to move off before he wakes up. And I don't know if you noticed any of the birds that were hopping around on these buffalo. They were or they are red-billed oxpeckers. They are birds that live on large mammals here in southern Africa and all through to East Africa. They don't live on them, but they spend a lot of time with them because they feed on ticks that they glean from the backs of buffaloes and rhinos and other large mammals. And they normally follow herds of big buffalo herds like this around during the day, while they move off. These two buffaloes seem to be looking at each other and kind of sussing each other out. It looks like two young bulls. Oh, look at these two. They're having what looks like a light tussle, nothing too serious. But as I said, they are young bulls. We've got a question from Nicole about oxpeckers. Would buffaloes ever eat one? And no, Nicole, a buffalo would never eat an oxpecker. They only eat grass. Buffaloes feed exclusively on grass, not even bushes or leaves. Their diet is very simple. And oxpeckers, they do sometimes get a bit irritated by them if they're digging, because oxpeckers can get quite all up in their ears to look for ticks and can get quite irritating to them. So they might shake their head or flick their tail at an oxpecker, but they would never consider eating one. It just doesn't fall into their diet whatsoever. But these two bulls they're still tussling a little bit, and I think this is not a serious fight, but more of a playful kind of coming of age kind of fight. As they do this, learn which one of them is more dominant. They start to establish a bit of a hierarchy for when they are older. And one day, when they are dominant bulls and they're competing for females or trying to fight off another dominant bull, this playing and fighting and tussling like this will come in quite useful. But, as I said, there's not a lot of aggression shown here. We're going to stay with these buffaloes and maybe use our binoculars to scan across onto the other hillsides that we see to look for other animals. And while we do that, we're going to send you off to another live location.
Thanks. Beautiful. So we came to the Treehouse Dam. This is our new location from that Hyena den. And of course we have to left it, with one station there because we have to find something else for you guys. And then we come across beautiful, looks like one single, for now, one male. A hippo, as you can see, is playing his role by going down. They do that when they're in the water. It's all about submit down for probably a few minutes or a few seconds. Like you can see, he's already up again. So it's pretty active, I would say, pretty active when a hippo does this. Sometimes all you see is nostrils or ears sometimes, and they don't want to play around or they don't want to show up. So this is all about checking out who's coming to this very waterhole to drink. And then of course he only owns his spot, but for him to be in the water, it's a key. But other animal can come to drink, it's not a problem. They only don't like dangerous animals who can kill them, which is most lions, and even a leopard come down here. If it happens while we're here, you can notice a lot of different behavior, which is going to be a lot of communication, but vocals, that's a warning, or he doesn't like it. And most of the time when they do that noise, it's all about they don't like something, or maybe it's kind of a communication. But then you see that hippo would try and get up to the bank faster and return back to the water. So that's something really irritating that animal. Could be all about you or somebody else. So beautiful with these beautiful ears. So he's probably came into this water hole where they spend majority of the time outside of the water the whole night, grazing. But he's got a very important role out here, since he's only the male that we can see. So his job is to make sure he maintains his territory boundary. That it's very important for him. So there is no conflict. A lot of time males can sometimes overlap territory, but if it happens all the time, it's all a fight whenever they share a water hole, where there's a females and a dominant male, and the other male come in trying to force himself into that water hole. Then that's where the fight come from, because a lot of times at this one point male has to dominate. Good morning, nature lover. Welcome to a Morning Beautiful show this morning. So your question, you want to know where the dew hippo go during the dry. So this animal, just like a crocodile, same thing. But the only difference is that with this specific one we're looking at right now, they definitely need water daily basis when they have to, when the water's around. So when these dry out, they have to move into a river. And when that river dry out, that's a problem. And then it means it's going to be no water hole for them to be able to sustain their lives. But they not only have to live or survive eating grasses, but the shelter, it's a water most. And of course, we've seen during that drought, which was a few years ago, we saw a lot of carcasses lying outside of the water or near the water. Those that couldn't make it because, so they do definitely have to move to another water hole. So I'm going to move on, trying to find something else, and I'm going to take you to another guide who will be showing you again beauty of the nature in Africa.
Well, look over there. There is a female, and look to the right. What do you see? Yeah, just disappeared a little bit in front. Looks like mommy is doing some TLC. Is she gonna show it to us once again properly? But I'm the only one here. I'm very far away from her. I have tried to find the best possible angle so that we can see this little beautiful cub. I'm hoping that it's gonna walk to the right from the face. There it is. Looks like it's suckling. She had rolled over, and it's behind her now. You see it? Way back in the long grass. Disappeared a little bit. I don't know where it is, but it's gonna come. It is normal for her to be by herself for a good 2 months after giving birth, because it is necessary for the young one to really get. There it is, guys. It fell over. There it is. Okay, let's have a look at this. Come on, mommy, lie flat. I need to walk on you. There it is. Yeah, you can only see it. There it is. Whoa, look at that. Okay. Finally, you guys get to see it. The little Houdini who was hiding all that time has surfaced. There it is. How cute is that? Yes. Finally, look at that. Yes. Yes, you don't know how much joy this kind of sighting brings to me. I hope, you feel the same. Yeah. So beautiful to see this little guy. I was here almost at 6 o'clock, 6:10 this morning, looking around. We saw the female. We tried to get close to her, and finally we did, but she moved away. We're quite a distance away, and giving her full freedom to do what she wants. And she has revealed her only cub, I don't know if she gave birth to more than this one, but it's the only one we found. And looks like it's still very wobbly. I mean, it's very shaky, it's not very stable. So it means this could be its first time outing out of the place where it was born, or maybe it has been moved a couple of times from the original den, and then eventually, it came up here. Definitely it must have moved the den, but being out and exposed to vehicles. Kitsanda Jumbo, thank you for your comment. You say it's a cutie. Yes, it is. They're just so adorable when they are this small. But I tell you, they are still very fierce and aggressive. I had a very interesting experience, sometimes back when I found a lioness with 2 cubs, and then next day I came and found her with only 1 cub. I game drive for quite a while. Then I came across the other cub quite a long ways heading in the wrong direction, and I decided to take matters in my own hands. I tried to grab it, but I tell you, that little guy growled and bit me in the hands. I had to take a blanket in the car and wrap it around. Took it very close to where the mother was, released it, and it was a joyful reunion. But yes, it can be adorable, but I tell you, they can be very, very, aggressive towards us. That's why, they're meant to be out there and are meant to be in the vehicle. I don't know if it's going to show up for us again. It would be lovely to see it, but it's so fluffy and very healthy, looks everything that you'd expect with a young cub, very, very hairy, or very round. Everything is just perfect for that little guy. And being the only litter with this female, I think it's getting full attention. It's getting lots of milk, and that's why it's very, healthy, like the way it looked. Yeah, that is. You can tell it cannot stand for very long. Try to hold on to the mother, it falls down. Yeah, there it is. Now, this is a problem. When you're the only one, your mom becomes your play toy. And, those ears and tails are going to get a lot of, attention. Yes, look at that. Flop down. Yeah, the tail and the ears are going to get a lot of attention, to this female, because she's got nothing else to do and play. So they're going to be getting a lot of biting and clawing. Yeah, it is, this time that she's, pulled it out for us, definitely she will be leaving it somewhere every time she goes to hunt. The area she's in is a prime estate. It's a beautiful area. It's got a marsh. It's got lots of cover. And, zebra, wildebeest, buffalo, giraffe are always coming here. So it means that she's chosen a very appropriate area to give birth. Definitely also the other lionesses that were mating with Olalashe and Kijana yesterday will be giving birth, in the next few months. By then, this little guy will be 5 months old, and he's going to have, younger toys to play with. But I don't know if there's another sister who we haven't discovered who has given birth, because it is... Marianne Jumbo, will the mother carry the young one when she tries to move, or will it let it walk? It is both. She is very smart. She will try and allow it to walk so that it can get strong and learn to walk earlier. And every time it has a difficulty, she can sense, with the distress call, the kind of behavior it's portraying, then that's when, she carries it, or she decides to carry it with her mouth. The bite is usually very gentle. Mine looks like it's dangerous, but there is a way they are known to bite it behind the neck, and is so gentle and soft without injuring the little guy. And also the young guy usually knows that it's being held, so it doesn't try to wiggle or fight, because that can increase the tension with the mother's teeth. It relaxes and coils in a certain way. I think it allows the mother to really get a good grip, and it gets carried. But yes, she is very good in judging when is it the right time to carry the little guy. He's very interested in my voice, and he keeps looking out to try and figure out where I am. But it's so beautiful to see this little guy over here. And yes, I can say it's only about, by the looks of it, it's just under 2 months. It's not 2 months yet. It's still too young for 2 months. I'd give it around 6 weeks. So it's still got another few weeks before it becomes big. Otherwise, looking at the size, the first time I've seen young lions like this feeding on meat, they were not this size. So it's not 2 months, it's less than that. And it's, it gives me now another target to be looking forward to every morning, waking up and seeing it. Yeah, I don't know if she's gonna roll over. Sometimes after sitting in one side for very long, they get tired and they can turn around. If she turns around to this side, then definitely we'll be able to have a better view of the little guy. You can imagine what I'm going to do. I'm gonna stick here for a little bit, because now it looks like she's getting more freer with us. So let's see what's happening somewhere else.
We are back at andBeyond Phinda, and we're still with the buffalo herd that we had just watched get up and start moving off down the hill about 10 minutes ago. But they've moved off remarkably quickly. They have started walking down this sort of valley into the woodland below, and I think there might be a waterhole there that they are heading towards. So when buffalo start the morning, they wake up, start grazing in the direction of water, and they drink first thing in the morning. They are very water dependent, so some of the animals out here in the bush can go days without water, 2 or 3 or 4 even sometimes. Some of them don't even need to drink at all, but buffalo aren't one of those animals. They need to drink every day, probably twice a day on average. And they have almost completely disappeared, except for 1 or 2 bulls bringing up the rear. When buffalo move, normally they move with the calves in the middle of the herd, and then all the bulls in the herd form a bit of a bodyguard around the flank, and the rear is always brought up by a few bulls as protection. You can see they're flicking their tails a little bit, they're flicking their ears as there's some insects buzzing around them. The sun is coming out now, behind these clouds, and with that sun there's a whole lot of insect and bird life that's started to come out. Got a question from Nina about the most exciting sighting I've ever had. Nina, sure, it's very difficult to tell or think back and try and see what was my favorite, because I've had so many, but I think the most memorable one was when I was with a cheetah and her 2 cubs, and I came across a lioness stalking them. And just going to reposition here. We watched very, very tensely as the lioness came closer and closer to the cheetah, and eventually just before she got close to them, because she would definitely have attacked them if she had come any closer, a warthog broke straight out of the undergrowth towards her, and the lioness got a fright. The cheetah saw the lioness, and the cheetah cub survived. So that was the most memorable sighting for me, for sure. Also, I've seen 1 or 2 kills, which are always exciting to see, but that cheetah and lion interaction was just amazing. Now these buffaloes are just starting to move off, and we're going to lose them completely. There's no road there, so we might go and wait by a waterhole on that side and see if they come to drink, but for now we're going to send you off to another location.
Hopefully they do come to drink. Unfortunately, unlike everybody else this morning, we have been blanking. We haven't found a single thing yet, which is not really the way we wanted the morning to go, but it's fine. We'll get there eventually. My name's Tristan. On camera I've got Theo this morning. And we've been trying to find Tani and the cub the whole morning. We went to where they were last seen, where they had that scrub hare kill yesterday, and there's no sign of them there. It's a bit of a tricky place to look for them, because it's a very, very, very steep bank drainage line with a lot of rocky outcrops in it. So it means you can't drive in the drainage line itself. You have to kind of hug the bank, which is full of tamboti thickets. So that makes it really, really tricky to actually get anywhere there. So we haven't had much luck. I've just come into Tripura now just to check if she can come south, because the general direction was south last night. But there seems to be no sign of her, so maybe she's just lying up somewhere in that drainage line behind some rocks or something like that with the cub. It's a dreary morning, so it's very possible that they're just curled up at this stage. Anyway, we're going to keep at it. We'll try and see if we can find anything. We'll try also to check on Sabi and the cubs and see what's happening with them. Hopefully we'll have some luck at some point.
Yes, same position, but no sight of the little guy since the last few minutes, but definitely it is there. I was hoping that the mother was going to roll over, and so it can come and suckle from my side, and that would be a wonderful, sighting. I wish, she knew what I was saying and she would do that. But here, these are wild animals in their own natural environment, and we have to leave them to do what they do without interference. Remember, this is one of the Olololo lionesses. She could be one of those that lost cubs about 2 years ago to the River Pride battle that they had down at the river. Most of you might remember that. She could be one of the females. She's got 1 cub, and it's just beautiful news for us and for you guys, because you deserve it. You've been there, watching these since this morning. And I've been here since that time to try and show you this, but definitely there is a cub. This pride has so many members, but since the ousting of one of their males who crossed over to the marsh, and then one of the others hasn't been seen for quite a while after, he was injured by a buffalo, was treated, but since then has never been seen. Since that time, they got scattered. We've been seeing a lot of 2s and 1s, apart from yesterday, where I witnessed 4 lionesses with the new 2 pride males, Kijana and Olalashe. It was the most I've seen in about 4 months. So with the new cubs, gives me an idea and a hope that maybe when these guys reach about 2 months, we will be able to see the whole pride come together. Remember, they were almost about Jumbo, does the cub benefit from having a sibling? Of course, unlike in humans where you want to be the only one to get everything, with lions, the cubs develop a lot of skills by having a sister or a brother, because when mom is away, they get hidden, and it does help if there is danger, one might see it. Also, to develop those hunting skills, they need to play with one another to strengthen their muscles. They play and fight each other. That's how they develop the muscles. So it is actually wise to have a sister or a brother as a lion or a lioness. So that's why I was saying this little guy is going to have a very hard time, and the mom is going to have a terrible time every time. You know, the little guy is very well fed because it doesn't have anybody else to play with. It's going to be mom, and those ears and tail are going to get a lot of attention. Hopefully there is another female who's hiding somewhere and we haven't seen her, and she's going to reveal, you know, her secret to us maybe by the time this lioness also reveals, brings this cub out. Maybe there is another lioness that will come out. It is normal and typical for lionesses to mate or give birth at the same time, and so, you know, they can babysit one another's cubs. Makes life much easier. It's evolution and adaptation that they picked up to be able to be successful in these, savannas of Africa. It's much easier when there are more. So it could be that there is another one, but being alone, it's a little bit tough and actually very scary out here in the wilderness. But once it's about a year, it's the chances of surviving increase, because if there is food, it's going to get all the attention and gives it, higher chances of survival. Well, it looks like it's still hiding away from us, but this is a perfect spot. There is a lot of hiding spots. There is a very big ditch. We call it the canyon. We cannot show it to you because it's very scary. And she does go down there and hide the little one. So it's a perfect, beautiful place. I think I'm going to stay here for a few more minutes. If it doesn't come out, I'm going to move on. So let's see what else we can show you.
Thank you very much, Isaac, there with your lions. We are still keeping with cats. Now, if you follow to where we are, we have got into the area where these cheetahs were, and we've got a track here. It's a little bit overcast, but hopefully you'll be able to actually get the detail. Now, if you look right there where I'm pointing, that is the back pad of this cheetah track, and these that you're seeing here are the phalanges or the toes of the cat, and where the measuring utensil is at the very end there is actually the claw. And very interesting with cheetah tracks that we know of, a cheetah cannot fully retract its claws, and that's why it's so prominent on tracks like these that you do see the claws of the cheetah. With other cats, because they can retract their claws, half the time you do not see the claw mark on the track, unless it's very, very soft sand that the sheath of the nail is actually pushed by the sand. But with cheetah, it's almost prominent or evident that you will half the time see the claw mark on the cheetah track. But this is the adult track. We're gonna move over and show you the
Welcome back to Phinda Private Game Reserve. We found these buffalo again. There is actually a road which they're walking towards. And have a look at these few in the front. They just noticed our vehicle and they're staring at us, trying to figure out what we are and why we're in their way. See the buffalo on the far left now of your screen with it looks like scabs or very patchy fur on the top of her forehead. She's a very, very old female. She must be one of the oldest cows in this herd. And look at her fur on her sides as well. Very, very patchy. She's lost a lot of hair and she's got some bald patches. I'd say she's about, she's very, very old, probably 30, 35. And she's probably had many calves in her life. And she would have been part of this herd since she was a calf herself. The buffalo herds are made up of calves and females and also young breeding males. So all members of the buffalo community live in a herd except for old males that have lost the ability to mate or breed. They're not sexually active anymore. They leave the herd and they go and wander around by themselves. Here, have a look where they're walking around this beautiful open grassland. There's a lot of food for them here, and imagine a whole herd of buffalo moving, cutting a huge swathe of trampled grass across this grassland. It's very, very healthy to have buffaloes in grasslands because they rejuvenate the grasses extremely well. As they walk, they trample and they bury grass seeds that might not have been buried before. They open up space for light to get down to the smaller grasses, and they contribute hugely to a healthy grassland ecosystem. So these buffalo are almost like gardeners inadvertently. So Luke has asked a good question about what time buffaloes go to bed. And Luke, buffaloes are daytime animals, so we call them diurnal. They're active in the day and they normally rest or sleep at night time. But it doesn't mean that they go to bed as the sun goes down. They can still move around and feed, and they often drink just after dark and into the early evening. But around, at the moment on Phinda, the sun goes down at about 7, and I'd say about 9 o'clock is when buffaloes would look to find somewhere, usually at the top of a bit of a crest of a hill or in an open area where it's nice and safe and that they can see a larger field of vision around them to spot predators coming. That's where they would settle down. So I'd say about an hour, generally an hour and a half after dark. And then normally first light, they wake up. Today these buffalo have actually woken up later than usual, just because the light has been made a bit darker by the clouds. So what they thought was dawn was probably an hour or two after dawn, because the clouds kept it darker. But they are up now, and they have started their day, although not at such a high pace. So have a look at some of these buffalo, just chewing, but actually not feeding. They're not picking up grass in their mouth, they're just chewing the cud. So Sassy Cassie has asked a question about whether there's a matriarch in Cape Buffalo herds. And the short answer is no. And there is quite a complex social structure with regards to buffaloes. In this herd, there's probably 3 or 4 small family groups, and each one of them is made up of quite a few, maybe 6 or 7 cows and their calves, but the dominant gender is male. So the bulls are dominant over the cows, and there's a hierarchy of so if there's 4 or 5 bulls in a herd, there will be a strict hierarchy. They'll know exactly which bull is the top bull, and every bull will know his place. And they will be the ones that will be the first to defend the buffalo herd against predators, and the bulls will compete with each other for mating with females as well. So no matriarch in Cape Buffalo. Some of these buffalo are just chewing the cud, regurgitating food that they've already eaten up to chew again for a second time. And this is because buffalo are ruminants. They have 4 stomachs and they have a very efficient digestive system. So they eat a lot of grass and they digest a big portion of it. Unlike other animals, for example, rhino or elephants, that eat a lot of grass and only digests maybe 10% of it. But they have to spend a lot of time chewing the grass for a second time, chewing the cud, to enable their digestive systems to get the most nutrition out of what they eat. And these buffalo, they look in quite good condition. If you see their hips, their hip bones aren't sticking out, their rib cages aren't sticking out, they're looking quite good condition, even though, for example, this female is a little bit patchily furred. They still are quite fat and well, and bearing in mind that we've just coming out of our dry season, this is a very good sign for the wet season ahead. When buffalo are in good condition, they tend to breed better, so maybe we can expect more calves from this herd in a few months because of the good grazing that they've had and because they're looking so well and healthy. And all of the animals are actually benefiting from this green grass at the moment on Phinda. And we're going to stick with these buffalo for a bit more, see how much more they move from here. I don't think they're going to go look for water at the moment. They look like they might actually rest again. But we're going to send you, in the meantime, to another live location.
From the buffaloes back to here in the Mara, we've left our lions who seem to be lazy. So they may be waiting for some prey to come their way. So I've come to the forest area to find our leopard Romy, who had 2 cubs. So I'm driving just to see if there's any traces of leopard footprints because the ground is still wet. Sometimes we have to keep on looking because leopards are very shy, elusive. The last time we saw her was about a week ago. So I'm crossing my fingers to see if I'll be lucky around this area. If not, I'll head over to the plains to wait for those elephants who will be coming towards the swamp and into the forest. So as I carry on my mission to find Romy, let me take you over to another live location.
Well, good luck, team. Hope you can find Romy for us. She's been very elusive for the last few weeks. I've moved to a different location or different, I'll say, a position. And here I have seen a glimpse of the little bundle a few times. You will see it there. It's just suckling, and it just did a nice catwalk on top of its mom's back, which was super. I wish I could push the same button to see it do it again. But you can see it playing there. Yeah, mommy is, you can see the arm. I think this is going to be a lot of bonding between this young one and mom, because there's nobody else to play with. So mommy, you have to be my toy. And it's going to be lovely to see them play every day. I don't know if next it will be going on mom's back. Let's see. There it is. Are you gonna walk on mommy's back? Well, these young lions are born without teeth, and they grow them, but they lose their first set at very early age. There it is. Look at that. Yeah, the problem is it's facing away, because I have driven around. Yeah, there it was. Very, very, very young. Yeah, and so they lose their first set and then grow the set that they're gonna carry for the rest of their lives at a very early age. So here I think it's just maybe growing it's the original set that it's gonna have for the rest of its life. And they're usually blind at birth, very much like our kitties at home. And the eyes are only open very early, second week. This is a very prime spot for the mom, which means when I say that, it's got lots of hiding places in case of any threat. Lions in this area, live a very good life. There it is again. The reason is there is enough of everything. And I must, confess that in the years that I've been here, I've never seen a very, skinny looking lion or a lion dying of starvation here. I don't know where they go. I rarely, get to see a skull or a lion that has died of death. But mostly I believe they get eaten very fast once they die, because of vultures and hyena seems to take revenge on them when they die. They eat them really, really fast. I think it's because of those times that hard times that they gave them when they were alive. They don't hesitate eating the carcass or eating the carcass in the vultures and hyenas. That is the beautiful sight I have here. The sight that you only get here in the Masai Mara, the Balanites trees. You can tell, the kind of environment she's in. Linda, Jambo, when do these cubs leave their mother? Oh, looks like there's a lion coming. Look at that. Is that Kijana? Okay. Linda and there's a female. Okay, let's see. Let's wait and see what's going to happen. She hasn't picked up that they're there. That's a collared female and Kijana. This is going to get very interesting. She hasn't picked up that, Kijana is heading towards her. Remember, he's a threat because he's a male. He might disturb the cub. Let's see, okay, she's picked up. There is somebody coming, and let's see. Okay, very alert, ready for anything. That is not the look that you want if you are a lion, staying very calm. I don't think they see her. She has seen them already. The cub is playing behind her. This is gonna get interesting, guys, because right this stage she's very, very protective. The cub is unaware, doesn't know the dangers lurking. It is not very big danger because they're part of the pride, but I don't think it's a right moment for them to meet the cub. So I don't think it's going to be a very good reception, especially for Kijana. And looks like he just overshoot the position. And you can tell that she's very down now. You see, okay, I think he has spotted her. What's going to happen? It is a tense moment. There we go. Yeah. Yes, like I said. Yes, she's not gonna let him. Yeah, she's not gonna let that guy come close to her cub. Yes, very interesting. That is what you get when you get close to a mummy with a cub. They don't back down to any lion or lioness. You did see for some seconds towards the end of the little scuffle that the lioness that was mating with Kijana almost joined in the fight to help this lone lioness. It is typical for them to join hands and fight off, males, even if they're their own. And that is enough for Kijana to understand that this is an area that you're not wanted. And if he tries to move again, it will happen again, without any doubt. And here is another lioness that just appeared behind me. So looks like they were all not very far. And this is what I love about nature sometimes. You just stop somewhere and give it your time, and all of a sudden everything is revealed. They just come out. They just came out to say hello. All of them are around me, but I couldn't find them earlier. Now I don't know what's gonna happen. She might decide to pick up the cup with her mouth and take it with her. And with her picking up and moving with it, it means that and Kijana will understand that he is not wanted. They are very, very protective and very aggressive. You saw that. Okay, let's see. What are you gonna do, lady? Still not very happy with Kijana. You can see the gnarling, showing off teeth. Still, right now, what is going in her mind is, where do I hide this cub now? That is priority number one. Yes, sitting down. Yeah, sitting down. They know they're being submissive. Okay, this looks like a spot that I'm going to hold on to for the next few minutes. Let's see what else is there. I don't know if she's gonna pick up that cub.
Thank you very much, Isaac. We also still keeping up with our cat this side, the cheetah. And just to add on to our previous track of the mother, here we've got smaller track of the youngster, as you can see here outlined. Again, small pad and the toes there, as you can see, very prominent, and also very deep into the sand. So it just confirms that it is indeed the mother and the three that we are looking for. So we'll be trying to keep up with these tracks, and hopefully when we do meet later, we'll have these animals. Thank you very much, guys. Let's keep following.
Well, she's got a no nonsense face. Sorry for my language, but this is a lioness that is so angry right now, and she is thinking so fast. She needs to get that cub out of there. At the same time, she needs to, foresee those guys that they don't come close to that cub. She's not ready to, let it meet, the rest of the pride, and that's why she was that aggressive, and that was the reaction you get when you approach a lioness that is not ready. Looks like the cub had walked away quite fast at the cub, and that's why she walked. She walked, really fast. I don't know. Just hold on. Okay, looks like okay, I'm gonna wait here a little bit. Maybe the male lion is walking there. Is the cub there? If it's there, she's gonna come back roaring at very high speed, of which I don't know if the cub is there. Let's see. I doubt if it's there. No, it's not there. It moved when she went really fast for the lioness. When the lioness moved towards that male, I think the cub realized that all is not well, and it sneaked away. And there she is. I can see her. There she is. But we can't see the cub. But her reaction, you can still tell that she is not happy. There she is. Look, sneaked away, either down to the canyon. The facial expression, yes, she's looking down in the canyon, so it means the cub is down there by the lugger. She's gonna catch up with her cub, who is hiding somewhere down there. Definitely she can pick up the scent, and this is what is important, that the cub, the scent of the cub is the only one around, so she can find the cub. Definitely it's down there somewhere. You can tell she's looking down. I love SA, Jumbo. Will the other lionesses try and help her? Of course, yes, they will. If, the male really wanted to get close to that cub, all lionesses join hands, and it can be very rough for that male. They won't kill it, but they will sure give him a good feel of what they are. They'll bite him and claw him, chase him almost as far as possible. So they will join hands. Yeah, all those expressions are, I don't want you here. Yeah, that is the language she speaks. I don't want you here. That is what she's telling, the young kijana. Yeah, although he's, the new father, he is not very welcome when the mother is not ready to reveal the cubs to them. It is tough, but this is how it is. The cub could be to her left and down there, but we don't see anything. But from where she is, she can either see the cub, you can see her looking down. I don't know if it's gonna come up. Hopefully it does. We don't see it anywhere there. Yeah, maybe I'll move slightly. Just hold on tight. Okay. Maybe we'll be able to see it. But well, I don't know if we'll be able to see it. It's a better angle from where she is. She's looking down at the gully, but that male lion is very daring. I did see him walk towards her, where I can't see the cub, but you can see the sort of canyon I'm telling you about. We call it a laga. It's a highly eroded wash-off that has been done by water. We call it laga. So that's where the cub, I think, sneaked to when it had the mother growling and fighting with the, kijana. Yeah, there's still a lot of tension here. She doesn't want to go down because she doesn't continue giving in to the lion's demand to try and meet the cub. So she's gonna stay up there and continue watching the young cub as well as keeping the male at bay. Well, this is a place that I'm gonna not leave for a little bit, but let's take you to another live location.
How cute is that little cub? So here we've come across cattle egrets who seems like they're sunbathing as well as hunting for vertebrates, fish, tadpoles. These cattle egrets, this black-headed heron, sacred ibis, hammercops. Oh, there's lots of birds here. I can also see a little egret, African jacana. So there's a mixture of birds here, which is so nice to see. Quite often you'll see cattle egrets following big herds of buffalo, elephants, and other grazers. But sometimes they'll also come to the marshes where they get an advantage of the crustaceans, they get advantage of the vertebrates, and small insects that are around the pools. You can see how the heron is walking slowly, trying to locate prey. So there's two species there, the black-headed heron and the grey heron. You can see how slowly they're walking. Despite them, sometimes in the waters where they'll be hunting for fishes and tadpoles, they also like hunting for snakes and small rodents in the long grass. They're very patient when it comes to hunting, where they'll wait slowly, and when something is startled by their feet, they just quickly pick that up. I've seen the heron swallowing a rat, and that was so cool. So I'm sure those buffaloes in the background, as they start moving, the cattle eaglers will begin to follow them, and they also get that advantage. Sometimes you see them riding on the backs of these herbivores as they carry on grazing, and those insects that are disturbed, these birds get an advantage to eat that. So there's no competition over food, so everyone have their own space. So that means there's plenty of food over here. See how the herons are walking in a very slow pace. So the types of snakes that are around here, the common grass snakes, the egg eaters. So in the afternoon, you find elephants, buffaloes, and other herbivores coming to this marsh where it's rich in water and other soft grasses. And then in the afternoon, we see them walking back towards the low escarpment. So these birds have come early, where they get that advantage. And then as the herds come in, they also get a full advantage because there'll be lots of grazing, so there'll be lots of insects that will come out from this grass. And that's what we're going to help this bird wait here for those herds to come. So I'm going to leave and see what else I can find, or maybe go back to where the River Pride were resting as I take you over to another live location.
Well, here we are with the lone cub. Looks like when Mom went for the male, he came down and rolled that canyon all the way down. But now it's struggling to climb up. You can see Mom is up there waiting for it to come, making sure that the male doesn't approach. Looks like it's a very difficult climb because every time it tries to climb, the ground is breaking, so it slides down. But it's the only one. Look at that. Mom is not worried at all. Can you hear the call? Yeah, looks like a male. I'm now happy that I know it's a male. And also, I was saying he, so it's a male. Look at that cutie. Very big paws and arms. Looks very healthy. That is a very serious, spot. It might roll down all the way down to the canyon. It's only halfway up, 3/4 up from below the canyon. It's very difficult for Mom to go down there, so it's either gonna struggle to come up or roll all the way down so Mom can go pick it up, because it is impossible for it to climb that, incline. Every now and then it's calling. Looks like Mom is not very concerned she's seated up there, making sure that nobody approaches. Luckily, there's no more lions that I've seen around that can come from the canyon and try and disturb it. You know, the intention is not to kill it, but it is not the right time for them to meet the cub. And that's why Mom is trying to keep them at bay. She might look like she's very relaxed, but I tell you, right now, she's thinking a lot. A lot is going on in that head. Yeah, the cubby is still there. What is going to happen to you, cubby? Are you going to roll down or are you going to be able to climb up? Yeah, very, very healthy little one. This is only not 2 months, I would say 6 weeks. Yeah, but very, very healthy. You see, when they're young, they have spotty-like, but as they age, they lose them. Victoria, why does Mom not get her cub? Well, the situation here is very tense. If she loses sight of those lions and lionesses on top there, they might come towards her, and that's what she doesn't want. She would prefer to keep an eye on the lion and the lioness and continue listening to the cub instead of going to rescue it, because she doesn't want to go there and then they follow her. It's like giving the exact position where the cub is. That is what is happening. But if it was on a flat ground, the cub would have made it towards Mom quite easily. And also, she doesn't know what the cub is facing over there. She's hoping that it's gonna manage and climb up and meet her. The cub does know that Mommy is not very far, and that's why it is trying very hard to climb that loose, steep bank. Maybe you need to change position, little guy. It is very tough. It is a situation that you don't want to, young cub to be in. Remember, this is nature, and there's nothing we can do. I must tell you that all is well for this cub. Mom doesn't know that it's very steep. The better side of her is she's trying to keep those lions at bay, but eventually she's gonna go and join the cub. Either she's gonna go down the canyon and then the cub is gonna walk down towards her. Can you hear the call? I don't know how it got down there. It could have rolled down and then tried to climb that wall, and then it came to where it is. There is a little spot where it's sitting. It's not as steep, but everywhere else it's loose bank and soil. What are you gonna do, little guy? Okay. Gathering some courage. Also very scared. The facial expression is, trying to scare anything that's trying to watch her. We're quite a distance, and it doesn't know we're here, we're watching. Yeah, there comes Mom. She's walking towards her. I don't know what's gonna happen here. Yeah. I don't know if she's gonna make, call it to give it some encouragement, but you can tell she's concerned. It's not very far distance. It's like 6 feet, the distance from her mouth to the cub, but it is very steep. Yeah, that is the call of desperation with the cub. Ow! 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 Yeah, it's not me. This might get interesting because I don't know if she's gonna find a place to go down and collect it or fetch the... Okay, what are you gonna do, mommy? I'm sure the cub... Okay, there we go. Look at these guys. Yeah, mommy's love. Look at the encouragement it's given the cub. It's trying to come up, but she backed up too quickly. She thought it was making it. She backed up. You need to go down, mommy. Okay, there we go, guys. It's too steep for her also to go down. She really wants to go down. Okay, she really wants to go down, but it's very steep. Now they both can see each other. She still has to be wary of those, those other pride members. Yeah, that is the call of desperation with the cub. It's like, what are you doing, mommy? Yeah. Oops. Oof. Okay, at least they are reunited somewhere down there. Yeah. Looks like they've been reunited. Let me try and reposition quickly, see if we can see down the canyon. Okay, I'm gonna let you see what else is happening somewhere else while I try and find if we can see her once again. But now they're down there. It's going to be very tough for us, to see them again, unless she decides to come up and investigate what everybody's doing.
Well, talking about better views, we have the most epic view of Sabi and the cubs. We have all three of them, and there's a track for Mulawati that was with them. When we were tracking them, we found their tracks and him following them, so he could also be around. I say Mulawati, but a big male leopard that was following them. But how cool is this? Look at that view. That is as good as it gets when you get leopards side by side drinking. And that's little Langa, that is with Sabi, and little Shasha is the one that has just walked away and come and lay closer to where we are. But to have all three of them together is amazing. We've tracked them from Cheetah all the way to Twin Dams, and it's interesting to see that she's bringing them more and more and more onto Djuma. They kind of scent marking, they're sniffing everywhere. You can see the cubs are a little bit unsure. As far as I know, don't think they've ever been to this part of the world. We certainly have never had tracks for all three of them here. So it's really interesting to see that she's bringing them up in this direction. And you can see that they are pretty much at home. Here they kind of sniffed around a little bit. I'm sure they've picked up scent for other leopards, and there's been a few phlegm and grimaces from the cubs. But otherwise, they seem really, really relaxing. It's such a weird experience being here right now with three leopards, because the last time I saw three leopards at this dam was when Osana and Shongile were still with Karula. They used to spend a lot of time like this, and it's a weird situation because they are at a very similar age to the last time I saw all three of them here. Obviously the two boys, or a boy and a girl, both in Karula and Sabi's image. Isn't this special? And there, like I say, is the boy on the right and the little female on the left. What an epic way to kind of kickstart our day.
Unlock the original day.
I'm going to turn the radio down a little bit. The good news is also that they are moving further north into Djuma, which is great news. I wonder if she hasn't maybe made a kill. Maybe somewhere here. Right, I'm just going to reposition quickly. We're going to try and catch up with these three, see where they go. Hopefully get some leaders to
Welcome back to andBeyond and Ngala. And in this cooler weather that we're having this morning, we've had an interesting tracking session following the whole Birmingham Pride, or it seemed like in terms of the track. And at one point, they were going up and down and hunting. You saw wildebeest tracks running away. But it looks like this is the female with two cubs who we were with yesterday. And it looks like from the tracks that she actually took them to the Pride. And they covered some distance. And with these cubs being the youngest out of the whole Pride, they often can't keep up. So it seems like mom has kind of fallen back and is resting. You see how she's kind of well out. Even the cubs are looking a little bit exhausted after quite a long evening of moving around. The rest of the Pride has continued, and I'm sure they're still hunting. Neither the Pride nor this female and her cubs have eaten anything, or it doesn't seem like they ate anything last night or in the past couple of days. It'll be interesting to see if she does, in fact, maybe this evening take them back towards the Pride, reintroduce them, or take them back and just let them interact with one another. Super cute to see these two. I mean, I haven't been here for quite some time, and the first time I saw them was with you all a few days ago. And particularly this female, the young female, is super inquisitive. She, as we got here, was standing on top of mom, and now she's exhausted. Eyes closing, ears still listening. I wonder if maybe something won't get her attention. There was a squirrel up in the tree here, and as the squirrel saw her moving around, was alarm calling. And that's actually something that one would use to try and find these predators. Now they're in quite a thick area. On the other side as well, there were two male impalas who were kind of fighting and tussling between one another. They, by mistake, ran in here. This mother would be up in a flash, and that would be a perfect meal for one lion and these two cubs. Wouldn't last them very long, but that would keep them going for the next couple of days. And even if she did make an impala kill, maybe that would prevent her from taking the cubs so far. The tracks of the rest of the Pride are already a long way away. They may even still be moving on an overcast, cool day like this if they haven't been successful on a hunt. This little male is watching us for now. And what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to spend the next few minutes here, see if any activity happens. And if not, I'm probably going to continue to try and see if we can find the rest of the Pride. Beautiful. For the lions, definitely there's going to be any activity. Here we come across this little creature here. Brownie looking animal. And you don't see many of a spot. Like a brown duck chocolate color they got. And now dwarf mongoose. They do their best just before they forage. Just gonna group around in this entrance of their den where they just came out from. They're probably sleeping in one of this mound here. And they're all just gonna think of where they're gonna go. Usually they forage huge distance, sometimes during the day. possible to come back to the same den when they want to, or they would sleep somewhere else during the forage, depending on how far they go that day. So with this kind of weather, they might delay to come out immediately, where if it was just the sun up, they would be already foraging around here, and all you just see them cross the road, running across, back, forth. And there's one that we're looking at right now on top of this one mound. It's actually watch the guard, so they watch around as the rest of them on the bottom. So if there's a chance of any predators spotted from that height, would be a give alarm call to everyone around here, and they'll shoot into the holes or hiding. Some of those that don't make it into that hole, they would be just going under a thicket, hide until it's safe for them to come out. And there's a system going on in this animal where there's a alpha male and alpha female, where those one are the one reproducing and breed and over. So many of these that you see, I see there's quite of a young one in this group here. It's probably, they take care of one another. They are a social animal, but they all take care of one another in a group, where the parents, usually they would go forage, and the rest of the other adults, including males that are in this part of the group, they will remain in a den. This is when they have young ones, so they take care of the young one while their mothers are gone. And the mothers, for them to come back is their job. Especially female, come back to give them a milk. And then it's only time those were in a den at that time to... Good morning, Alpha. You want to know what is their actual size? So I weigh quite a few grams, and probably 5, maybe 7 grams. They don't actually weigh too much. So small looking animals, size of a squirrel. And out here they consider as the smallest. Well, they're carnivorous little. They can actually eat on a bit of a meat when they can. They also hunt on insects, pretty much beetles, everything they see. And they're just gonna eat on it. So that's why everywhere they go, they will fit anywhere they go in terms of safety when there's an emergency. So I'm gonna leave this animal, and then while we do that, and let me take to another guide who will continue show you the beauty of the wild African animal.
I like watching and spending time with the Dwarf mongoose, which is very interesting. Now here we've come across 2 male giraffes that are sparring. This is one of the social interactions that giraffes are most likely to be doing, especially young male. Sometimes during courtship, we can see giraffes necking, but this is not serious. This is just gentle stroking action. So young adult bulls like this will test strength by wrestling each other slightly off to take just one another off the balance. So they're always trying to get the winner, but it's just gentle stroking, just to try and knock each other off the balance. So in real fights, all bulls swing their heads so hard that the blows can be heard even up to about 20 meters or even 30 meters away. So this is what these young bulls will use in future when they're trying to become dominant, because dominant bulls will come to a position where they'll have to fight each other to win the mating rights. So they stand side by side, trying to move, and just watch as they splay out their legs for good and firm balance before they stroke or swing their head. So that one is trying to get in balance, and then stroke, stroke, again. So if it was a real fight, you see that they try to actually Dear watcher, thank you so much for your question. They hardly break their necks, but I've seen them where they target. Sometimes they target the legs and behind the head, where it's much softer behind the head. But only sometimes you can find when one falls down, can break their neck. But this is very, very, very rare to see them breaking their necks. We have a spectator. Well, that one is busy feeding. Oh, could be there's another one there. So we have two sparring giraffes over in the forest. So remember, this is the social interaction. It's not tough, it's not serious. They're just landing soft blows on each other. So those soft blows and sparring is what wears off the tuft of hair on the tip of their horns. It's not frequent in females. Only bulls do that quite often. But sometimes you can see females and younger males doing the sparring. But it's most predominant in male younger bulls. And of course, big bulls or old bulls will go on serious fights. So the continual sparring makes them lose the hair on the tip of their horns. So these giraffes are still youngsters, but then they have very long necks. But when they swing, it looks a little bit slower than it is on how the blows land on each other. Because of the long neck, you can see it's almost like a slow motion, but when it gets to the other giraffe, it actually has a small impact. But if it was real fight, you can hear the blows from quite a distance. So I'm going to sit here and watch who's going to emerge the winner of this sparring contest as I take you over to another live location.
So we've just left that lioness and her 2 cubs, and as we've come back towards the road, a nice big elephant bull right over here, feeding on these new shoots in these shorter trees and shrubs. And he's about to come towards the road, actually, and on the road in front of us is actually the tracks of the rest of the pride. Let's see what this elephant does. He may very well cross right over in front of us, picking the new fresh shoots that are starting to grow. See if I'm sure he's just going to keep coming, and he's going to make the position a little bit better. We can't creep forward a little bit, get the bush that's in front of us out of the way. Let's have a look. I'm going to keep my distance. Oh, a little bit of a sign there. You see how he turned around, flicked his head up at us. That was kind of saying, I see you. Don't come any closer. Very, very relaxed. And as he continues over, I'm probably going to continue along this road, trying to see if we can find the rest of the pride. These tracks look very fresh. They're actually on top of our vehicle tracks from this morning.
While he tries to find the rest of the pride, we're following Tswalu and the cubs in the hope that maybe, just maybe, there is a kill somewhere nearby. I'm going to just go for a push between us and them. They are moving towards the boundary, but let's just hope we maybe can get at least... Well, let's just hope that the kill, if there is a kill, is on our side. But given how far she's walking them, I suspect that there is something somewhere. I'm just hoping it's not inside of Little Gari, because they're heading now straight back towards Little Gari, and they're going to cross. If they keep this pace, they'll cross in the next 2 minutes. All right, yeah, let's try to get around in front of him one last time, which will be nice. We're about to hit the little fire break, and it's a place where a lot of you might remember where we used to have Janet Jackson, the celebrity Janet, living. Exactly where we are now. I'm going to go to the road and we'll get them coming out. Magic sighting in the just see 2 leopards walking together is as good as you could ever imagine. It's the most amazing sight when you kind of drive up and you just see heads popping up and then these spotted coats as they start to kind of make their way towards you. It's pretty epic to see, and the love between the 3 of them is quite something. You see them often just rubbing up on each other, kind of grooming one another. I've also thoroughly enjoyed watching these little ones going into every termite mound to check what's going on. So look at this, it's a parade of leopards walking past us. Amazing. Doesn't get old, ever. It's so cool, but this is them crossing the boundary now. Well, they're about to cross the boundary now. Oh, special. All right, well, we'll just watch them disappear. Hopefully they'll come back again at some stage soon.
Wonderful. Here we are, different area with elephants. The African elephant, our African largest mammal. And here I have a small breeding herd that are enjoying their morning stroll in the open savanna. It looks like they just came out of the forest behind me and they headed to another forest in front. Definitely the female has an idea of exactly why they're heading that way. One of the reasons I would guess would be water. The African elephant is a heavy converter of our plains over here. Without the elephants, we'd have overgrown grass and forests. So they make sure that the plains are kept clean of unnecessary grass, and also, trees don't grow everywhere. Of course, you'd think they're damaging, but without elephants, trees would grow, which means there would be no areas with grass for other grazers. So elephants convert second land to man. They convert land second to man, and they are very essential, and they play a very big role in making sure that all the other animals exist, because they get rid of the bushes and there is enough area for cheetah to find, antelopes, and so lions can have, zebras, wildebeest, because without elephants this would be overgrown with with bushes. They live as long as we do, and they carry their babies the longest of most mammals, up to 22 months. They give birth to one every about 6 years, and their eyesight is very poor. Of course, you know this, but their sense of smell is very, very, very good. And every day, elephants move different direction. They never move in the same direction. They're always moving around, utilizing, what is best for them. Of course, the matriarch does know that, where they should be. It is a lovely morning, as you can see. The skies are quite clear, apart from those few clouds a long way away. But where I am, it's very clear, and it's going to be a very hot day. Remember to talk to us, #WildEarth. Question, comments are really, really welcome and appreciated. And hope you're enjoying this. You can tell a friend to live stream us on YouTube. And this is live. It's coming from the Masai Mara, the Mara Triangle. Louise, did you say how they survive with a little sleep? I hope I got it right. Well, it is natural for them. They sleep very short, and that is how they are. It is natural for them. You cannot compare them to anybody else. They need very little sleep, because they don't necessarily need 12 hours of sleep like us, because their big body and the poor digestive system dictates that they have to be constantly eating. They have to fill up their bellies, so feeding takes more time, and sleeping is not a priority. Only sleeping, very few hours, and it is natural. It might sound like they are sleep deprived. So, it is natural for them to just sleep for 4 hours. Well, I am here standing, and you might think that I have forgotten about the little incident we just came, through. Yeah, well, the lioness went down. There was a lot of calling down there. Looks like there was a bit of bonding between the mother and cub, and then it went quiet. So I decided to leave, but I'll be going there later on this afternoon. But all was well. They were down there, reunited. I couldn't see them, and that's how I left. But it seems like she wasn't going to come up. Maybe later on this evening she will come up, but all is well. Yes, it looks beautiful. The skies are blue. A few clouds here and there. And my elephants have sort of wandered away, so I think I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna try and go further down, see what else I can find down this way. There's always something either close to the track or at a distance. And also, this is still part of the Olololo Pride territory, and many members have been scattered all over this area. Maybe I might see another one, but I think I've gotten my dose of lion this morning, but I'm not complaining. If I find another lion, I'll be happy. Well, let me continue on this way. Hope I can find something interesting for you guys. Let's see what's happening, somewhere else with one of my colleagues.
Isaac, we are currently here with some more lions. We haven't quite got our dose of lions just yet. We spent quite a lot of time tracking them and ended up finding one of the Ross males, one of the males that are in charge of the pride. Oh, look at his big tummy. I wonder, his tracks were with the rest of the pride this morning. I wonder if they didn't maybe make a smaller kill in which he very stole it and ate lots of it. But very interesting. Look, he's even got some blood and fluid on his face. That old wound as well. But very, very big tummy, breathing quickly. Now, quite interestingly at this scene, so as Owen zooms out and as he zooms in, there's an impala ram that's been stored underneath that tree. Now, very likely, the pride isn't around here. He could steal something like that from them. However, he very likely killed this himself. And you see how interestingly it sits right underneath the tree. He would have done that on purpose. He would have taken the impala. An impala lion is very small and it's not going to last him very long. He would have taken and dragged it under the tree just to kind of keep it there. One of the reasons he'll do that is to avoid bringing any kinds of unnecessary attention towards this carcass, particularly from vultures. So vultures hunt exclusively by sight in this area. And when they're flying up high, they'll use their incredibly good vision to try and look down and find carcasses. If that carcass is stored under a good tree like it is, they won't be able to see it. They won't come down and they won't bring any other attention towards it. Now, lions would follow the attention of vultures as they start to come down. Other lions will come, hyenas will come, and then their attention will be brought towards this male and his kill, in which case he may end up losing it or having to fight to protect it, in which case he'd be risking an injury. So being so full at the moment, he's keeping it for later. Rio, how did this Ross male sustain this facial injury? I'm not 100% sure, to be quite honest with you. This is the first time I've seen him in many, many months. And just judging by how it looks and where it is on his face, it could very likely have been from a fight. And he has got a brother that he moved around with in charge of the Birmingham Pride. Get up. It's quite a deep wound. It very likely was either fighting with his brother for dominance or around a carcass. You'll see lions, particularly when they're all feeding around a carcass, the biggest and the strongest will get to what they really want. And if one starts to push and shove its way in, there will be a bit of a skirmish and they'll have a little bit of a fight over it. That could have been a swat from his brother, straight to the face, cutting him up. It doesn't look too bad. He doesn't look too worried about it, particularly if he did manage to kill this impala, eaten something last night as well. So he seems to be doing all right. Being a male lion is pretty tricky, particularly when you pick a large pride, Birmingham Pride. He's got his work cut out for him. He covers huge distances in the evenings, calling often to ensure that other male lions don't come through. And if other male lions do come through, he'll have to pick them, and he may come off with worse injuries than that. So interesting, this is an incredibly long distance away from where they were seen yesterday afternoon. I wonder if the rest of the pride, females, and a few of those youngsters and sub-adults are around. They're not close by here. They might very well be. But I'm going to spend a little bit of time here, see if he doesn't go into that bush and maybe pull that carcass out, maybe start.
So back to our lions, who seems like it's only one. The rest of the pride have moved on. Could be maybe to find something to eat. She seems like she's the one who's guarding back the den. Maybe she might return back to the den. So that is the success of lions coming into birth at the same time, where you find that some of them will take care of the cubs as the rest will go to find something to eat. Seems like we've gone to shade. So the rest of the two have gone to find something to eat. I saw some youngsters, some teenage lions, male lions, but seems like they're very far away. We can't really see them because they're in the bushes. So this is originally where we always see this riverbed. But it seems today they're out on a mission. They want to find something to eat. So I left them here, went to find Romy the leopard. It was not successful. So got back here. And it seems like they've not changed position. I watched these lionesses go out on a hunt. And I tell you, they are strong. She's seen an impala. Look at how she's just watching the impala. Okay, the impala's seen the lioness. Oh, no, maybe not. Now I think he's got eyes on her. Alice, thank you so much for your question. These lions weigh about 120 kilograms. They're lighter than the male lions. Sometimes the male lions can be about 250 kilos, but this seems to be about 120 kilograms. As soon as the impala saw them, he ran off. So we'll be back to resting again. Sometimes when lions are resting, the opportunity comes their way and you find that they will just crouch, sit, and wait to attack, despite them sometimes walking all the way to find game. Sometimes it comes their way. It's warming up, so it's that time of the day when they need to at least rest. They don't want to spend so much energy on this heat, so they have to wait because they know they're close to a water hole and animals coming to drink, they might get an advantage of that. I'll sit here for a while to see what these lions will be up to as I take you over to another live location.
Well, here I have the shy, the rare, the nocturnal Bohor reedbuck. Very alert. They are two young males. Their horns get slightly longer and very funny. They point forwards instead of sideways or inwards. The reedbuck horns points forwards. It is an antelope that is very active at night, and they have this whistling, whistle-like alarm call, very loud. They are not making it, but I'm just telling you, they are very alert because they just picked up that I'm here, and the one on that mound wants to take off anytime. He looks like he's releasing some weight, so maybe he can run faster. very alert, looking all around. They usually are in small herds of a male and a few females, but sometimes you come across 3 to 4 bachelor males, and this is the case here. Rarely seen. It's a Bohor, B-O-H-O-R, Bohor reedbuck. That is the gait. That's how they run. Very fast. And looks like the one behind is trusting the one in front. He's following. Be careful. Yeah, he's also doing the same thing. Very healthy looking. They are browsers and grazers, so this is very perfect environment for them. Looks like they're going for a hiding in the long grass. They normally will walk and then lie down and disappear like a magician in the long grass. Bohor reedbuck. It's just a beautiful time of morning. You can see there's a warthog to the right. And some elephants a long ways away. Yeah, is he gonna lie down, the Bohor reedbuck? And Jumbo, what is the difference between a grazer and a browser? Well, they are both, antelopes, but the difference is the diet they eat. Grazer means it's grazing, mostly feeding on grass. But a browser feeds on leaves. Leaves and leaves only. And there's only a handful of animals that feeds on leaves only. One of them that I know here is the giraffe. Another one is the dik-dik, very small antelope. Those are two that I know do it here. But if you go to more arid areas, you'll find, animals like the oryx. You'll find the gerenak in Kenya. It's an antelope that have the ability to unlock its leg and almost stand on twos and stretch its neck up and feed on trees. So they feed on leaves. Browsers feed on leaves, grazers feed on grass. That is the difference. Looks like they don't want to be famous on camera, so let me leave them and move further up over here. I have a big herd of buffalo coming, so I will stop there. Yeah, remember to continue talking to us, #WildEarth. Questions and comments are really welcome. It's starting to be a very beautiful morning. I have a big group of buffalo here. You'll be seeing them shortly. They're all over. Looks like that one of our big, herd. Look at this guy, Bungay. He's got a beautiful set of horns. Well, I'm gonna stick here for a little bit. Let's see what else we can show you somewhere else. Well, I have the Cape buffalo. It's another one of our grazers, and it's a ruminant. And you find the Cape buffalo from here in Kenya and slightly above the equator all the way to southern Africa. That is a fully grown male. This is one of those animals that you should fear when you're here. They have natural anger. They don't know how to show it, and they're just aggressive, and they go in groups of herds, maybe up to 300 to 800, and also bachelors of up to 20 together. Well, I'm gonna stick to to these guys. Let's see what else we can find you.
Welcome back to Tswalu Kalahari. As I said this morning, we were looking for cheetahs, and what a success. I couldn't be more excited. We're going to try keep up with this female and 3. It's exactly the same set of tracks that we were looking for this morning, and what a success. I like it when a plan comes together. So let's keep following and see where this female takes us. It looks like she's been walking most of the morning. I mean, it's quite an overcast morning today, so it makes sense that she would be moving about, probably in search of food, because it doesn't look like last night or late afternoon she was actually active or got lucky with hunting.
From the mother cheetah to the riverbed lionesses, who have small cubs, but they're not around here. She looks quite lazy, sheltering away from the wind, but I'm sure later on they'll try to make a move and go out for a hunt. So I'm hoping that maybe in the afternoon they'll be out again trying to hunt. So I think I might leave them because nothing more is happening here. Maybe they're waiting for an easy opportunity because they're close to the river, a small stream where animals might come to drink, zebras, wildebeest, Thompson gazelle, impala. So maybe they're waiting for that opportunity. So just leave them, and maybe to find them maybe later on in the afternoon as I try to find something else. So because it's warming up, most animals are out in the forest. We've seen lots of elephants heading to the forest and the river. So let's see what will happen in the marshes. So I'm driving to find some elephant that I've seen in the marsh as I take you over to another live location.
Welcome back to andBeyond Phinda. We have managed to find an animal for you this afternoon. It's been a very tough, morning. It's been a very tough morning for us. It's cold and windy and the animals have been hiding from us. But we have found this giraffe feeding on what looks like a knobthorn tree with a beautiful backdrop of the Lebombo Mountains in the background. So have a look at the giraffe's horns, and in actual fact they're not horns, they're called ossicones. They are special growths that come, bony growths from the giraffe's skull. You see that they have got fur all the way to the top and even on the tips of those ossicones. That tells us that this is a female giraffe, so she's a cow. A male giraffe would have bald tips to his ossicones from fighting with other males. He uses his horns or his ossicones to hit against other males' necks. And I believe you were watching some giraffes necking earlier on in the Masai Mara. A very good question from Vite. Do giraffes ever kick other giraffes? And yes, they definitely do. Giraffes' only defense mechanism or tactic to defend itself is to kick. And I don't know if you can see those big powerful legs on screen. Yes, you can. Those are about as tall as a human being, and they're very well muscled. They can inflict a lot of damage onto another giraffe, but mostly that kick would be directed towards predators that are pursuing the giraffe. And if, for example, a lion is probably the only predator out here that would consider attempting to hunt a giraffe. If a lion was behind a giraffe hot on its heels, one kick of those big legs would be enough to put it off for a long time. I've seen videos and I've heard stories about giraffes killing lions with that powerful kick. But also the front legs they can use to like stamp down on predators that are attacking from the front as well. So it can use all of its legs to defend itself. But against other giraffes, much less common. Giraffes don't have much reason to fight each other. But if they do, if bulls are fighting for a female, they would do that necking that you saw earlier, and possibly a kick or two if things got really aggressive. Now look at that tree. Giraffe's found itself now. It's like another knob thorn, and giraffes absolutely love eating knob thorns. It's one of their favorite foods. And watch how his tongue, or her tongue rather, wraps around the branches of those small little twigs and strips the leaves off. Watch now. Got a very long tongue. And that tongue must be extremely tough, because the knobthorn is one of the thornier trees around out here, and full of very viciously backward hooked thorns that the giraffe is taking absolutely no notice of right now. Just chewing straight through the small little new growth, the small twigs and beautiful green leaves that have just come after the rains that we've had early on in the season. Look at the lips as well, manipulating those little leaves into his mouth, her mouth. I keep calling her a boy or male. She is a cow. And this is just an amazing scene. The sun is starting to come out. It pops its head out every now and again, but it's still a beautiful, misty, overcast day, and the green is looking very green when the sun comes out. We're going to stick with this giraffe and see if any others pop out of the bushes behind. We do hear some of them feeding, and we're going to send you off to another place to see what you can find that side.
Beautiful. Giraffe is one of the beautiful animals to watch. Tall animal, and also here we have one of the biggest mammal, which is an elephant, bull elephant. It looks like he's on his prime, pretty much. Decent tusk that I saw. If there's a chance that he's going to move into slightly in open, he's got a very beautiful tusk, very thick and slightly longer than the elephant that we see around here. But he's kind of like being in the water, I think, and he's wet. It's just right on top. It's a little bit of a bush just between him and us. He saw that he was not actually accepting us. So I decided, okay, we were just gonna see if he ever gonna, yeah, there he comes out. So these type of the male, look at this tusk, is actually beautiful. And I'm just gonna see if I can roll either forward, just a roll, see if we can keep the visual of him as he just do his motional. But yeah, he's not happy the way he put his trunk on top of the tusk. That's one of the signal for us to know that he's not actually accepting or in a company around here. So he's gonna carry on like that. Sometimes move separately away from the females, they're capable of always separate from the female. Female move on their own, and then the males as a bunch of bachelor males. So I'm gonna let him go like this and search. Probably we'll find some herd around here, and I'm gonna take you to another guide who will continue show you the beautiful of the wild and African animal.
Well, I left the buffaloes and I've come across these elephants down by the laga, and they're having a drink of water at the same time climbing up the bank to go across. It looks like it's not easy to go up. It's slippery after all the rain. Yeah, it's not easy at all, but they will manage eventually. There we go. Well done, young man. Well, elephants are very smart, and they can adjust to a situation like that one very quickly and know what to do. And it wasn't that hard for them. They have crossed, and looks like the female did dig a bit of soil there, threw it on her back. They do that, adding layers and layers over time that acts like sunblock so that they don't get excess sunburn on their backs. Definitely they have something in mind. Yeah, elephants are very intelligent and smart, and they'll choose to be in a certain area for different reasons, and the matriarch usually is the one who knows where they need to be, because there is plenty of grass here, there is a lot of browse. They should have stayed, but she knows what she wants for them, and she's taking them there. The matriarch, I think, is the one to the left. Yeah, does the young guy want to drink? Yeah, looks like it. Mom is not ready. She's the matriarch, I think, that one there. Very big. And heading out to the trees. That is the mission, I think. Maybe there is a creeper. Maybe it is cooler up there. She doesn't want them being out here in the open. And that could be the plan. Yeah, looks definitely, they're not eating. They're on the move. And there is something in their mind. I'm gonna watch them walk a little bit as we take you to a different location.
Welcome back to Tswalu Kalahari. Still following on these mother and three. She just again stood up. She keeps smelling into the wind. As I said, it's quite a cloudy day today, so it looks like she is very keen for looking for something to feed the youngsters and also to feed herself, and that's why she keeps standing and finding shade and moving on for the day. So let's keep up and see. I mean, these cubs are at the age where they are about, I would say, just under 4 months. They at the point where they start losing that black. Actually, when they are born, they look a little bit like rattles, if I can call it that, or honey badgers, as some would refer to. But they are at that stage where they're starting to lose that coloration and actually getting the true cheetah colors. So we'll keep following and see what happens. Thank you very much.
we've managed to find a group of 5 elephant bulls here at andBeyond Phinda, and yes, we are so excited. This is an amazing sighting because look at the scenery that they are standing in amongst. Look at all these beautiful fever trees that are lining the riverbed. The whole riverbed from the base of the mountains all the way to a big waterhole is lined with these beautiful green pale trees. And in Zulu language, the language of Zululand, the local tongue, these are called kanyakude, which means literally means shine from afar. And it's because these trees just stand out so beautifully from the rest of the landscape. And I think these trees are the reason the elephants have made their way to this riverbed. They absolutely love to eat fever trees, and I'm sure if we could see close enough on some of their heads, we might see fine yellow, green dust or powder that comes from the bark of the fever tree, and these elephants often use their heads to push them over to get to the leaves that are out of reach. But at the moment, looks like these elephants are just standing and looking at each other, kind of sussing each other out. It's rather unusual to find 5 elephant bulls in a group like this. Elephant bulls are normally, look at them actually kind of greeting each other. Did you see that elephant bull with no tusks put his trunk, or try and put his trunk on the other one's trunk? And the other one didn't seem to take kindly to that. And now the tuskless elephant's retreating. Now he's coming back for another attempt at a greeting. See if it'll be more cordial this time. But I think these elephants have just met by chance here. I don't think they travel together in this group permanently. Elephant bulls, like I was saying, are solitary, so they are normally for most of their time wandering around alone, maybe with another bull for a bit, but then splitting up with that bull and then carrying on alone. To have 5 of them meeting in the same area suggests that they've come here for a food source and have met together by coincidence, which is why we're seeing this greeting happening here. Look at this. Look at them touching each other with their trunks. Elephants are extremely sensitive and emotional creatures, so the elephant that's retreating now is probably feeling a little bit stressed out by the lack of sort of affection showed to him in that greeting, and I think he may not feel too welcome here. And they base a lot on interpersonal relationships. I agree very, very much with that comment. It is a very majestic scene. Thank you, Majestic Sea. And now they look like they're relaxing, these elephants. They're slowly starting to feed again. You see how they're curling their trunks around the grass and spooning them, these tufts of grass, into their mouth. The base of this riverbed has probably got a lot of moisture in the last rains that we had, so the grass is looking especially lush. And elephants prefer grass, or at least the elephants in this area prefer grass to trees. So in the rainy season and directly after rains, they'll come out of the woodlands and they make their way straight towards the grasslands and capitalize on the grass that's become green with the rain. We're going to stick with these elephants and see what they get up to. If they start feeding on some fever trees around them, we're going to send you somewhere else to another live location to see what you can see there.
again, welcome. It looks like this female and the three calves are gonna start settling for the day. They have found a relatively large shade, and that's probably where they're gonna sit for the rest of the day. It's starting to warm up a little bit. The clouds are giving a bit of way to the sun, and also the cubs start showing a little bit signs of being a little bit tired. So I think this is where she's gonna call it for the morning, and she might pursue whatever she was pursuing this afternoon. You can see the cubs also now starting to settle around her there and getting comfortable in the shade. But if we actually look a little bit deeper, if I could ask Dave to zoom a little bit in onto the female there, you'll see what I was talking about earlier about how the cheetah cannot fully retract its claws. If you look towards her feet there, look at that. It just shows how evident that these animals have semi-erectile claws, and there is it, seeing it being evident there. And again, look at that. Closed eyes, couldn't care about what's around her. So, as I was saying, I think this is where she's going to call it a day. Cub got stuck a little bit there in the... Denise, the survival rate of cheetah cubs depends on a lot of things. So it will vary from place to place, but in general, you're looking at about a 50% chance survival rate. But as I was saying, it depends on a lot of other things. Firstly, it depends on availability of food around. So if the mother can actually sustain herself to produce milk, it also depends on density of the population of the cheetah themselves, where if you find an area where there's a lot of males, it means there would be a lot of competition for mating opportunities, and that entices the males at times to actually kill the cubs if they're not their own of cheetahs. But not only that, then you look at other species that do compete with these animals, things like your bigger cats, your lion, your leopard, and so on. And out of your feline species or your cat species, you actually see that the cheetah itself, it's one of the least ranking cats, in the sense that it only relies on its speed to evade such threats. So it doesn't have much of the power to actually stand its ground and fight. And those are the factors that come into account when you're looking at survival rate of cheetah cubs. So here at Tswalu, our survival rate is slightly higher than that of the norm of 50%. So I would take it to about a 60, maybe even pushing it to a 70% chance. But in general, that is those factors that would come into play with survival of cheetah cubs. I mean, with this particular female, if you take, for example, from the onset where we first started seeing these youngsters, it's been 3 youngsters since we've known her litter. So she's kept this litter, it's almost 4 months now, judging by the size of these youngsters. So she's done very well for now. And chances are she'll keep them if they do survive over, I'd say, 8 months and above. Chances are they will all make it to adulthood. But you never know. I mean, nature never, play by the rules. So that's just how things go out here in the bush. So let's see, and we'll keep you guys posted on this mother and 3, and let's see.
Welcome back to andBeyond and Ngala. We just left that Ross male still fast asleep under the the bush with his impala carcass under there. And not far away, we managed to find the rest of the Birmingham Pride. With them being so close, I wouldn't even be surprised if one of these females made that impala kill and that male came through and stole it. When we initially found them, it was quite interesting. An ostrich walked into their view and they seemed to get up and run away from the ostrich, which was quite interesting. They've now settled down again. A few of them are still watching in the area to try and see what that ostrich is going to do. I initially thought maybe another male would be running through with the way that they got up and ran away. But they've covered some serious distance last night, and they seem to be sleeping when we initially found them. But it's amazing. Sleeping lions, they got up incredibly quickly. Something got their attention. It seemed like it was the ostrich, which is normally on the menu. But this morning, it seemed like the ostrich was chasing the lions. You can see both white lions are here. The young female is the one that's just in picture. I think I only counted 10 Birmingham members here. Lying in the grass. Potentially this is where they might even end up spending the rest of the afternoon before this evening. It doesn't look like they've eaten anything in the evening, and even if they did, they might have had a small bite of that impala carcass before the Ross male came in and kind of pushed them off. Look at the colouring of that white lion. It's super unique and quite special to see. All of their heads are up. I mean, after running away from whatever it was, they've used a bit of energy, making sure that whatever it was that they were running away, as I said, I thought it was the ostrich. It's unusual behavior for them to run away from an ostrich like that. But just to make sure that it's not coming too close or something else that got their attention isn't sneaking up on them. Listening, looking around, smelling as well. So I think a couple of them are getting up. They might move together again, maybe find a shady spot. Although the sun's not shining today, it's still starting to warm up. They'll probably spend the rest of the afternoon here. It might be a good idea to come back here this afternoon or this evening and see if they aren't going to hunt.
Yes, I'm still with my buffalo here in the middle of the plains, and it's just a beautiful view that, I get to share this beautiful sight with you. It's just a lot of them, and lots of calves. Buffaloes can give birth almost every 1.5 years. And so this herd is about 500. So maybe if the females are 200, so every year we have about 100 calves born. If you take a look, there is no single frame that you would miss a young one. This is the Cape buffalo. It's one of our big five, and it's a grazer. They feed on grass. It's a ruminant, very much like crows. They chew their cud. They have 4-chambered stomachs. And here they are moving towards water. It's one of those animals that has to drink almost every other day. It is not like Thompson gazelle or giraffe that can go for a bit. These guys have to drink every day. They have very good sense of hearing, sight, and smell. And they are known to be very, very dangerous. We have two different kind of herds. A breeding herd, which is what you're looking at here, which consists of everybody from old bulls, old grumpy bulls, Safari lover, Jumbo, a very good question. Do, buffalo horns continue growing? Well, I think I need scientific intervention here. But according to my experience, they grow until they reach maturity where they are so big, especially in males, and then they stop growing. I've seen some very big bulls, with huge horns. They stop growing. I think this is controlled by the inner bone that is covered with the keratin above, and once that stops growing, the horns stop growing. So I think they reach a stage where they stop growing. Safari lover, you might have to remind me to do research on that a little bit and give some more deeper, details. But according to my experience living here, I've seen them grow and stop at a certain size, and they don't grow anymore. They are actually very useful, the horns, because they defend themselves using them, and that's why they have managed to be one of the most successful, grazers of the African plains. They can deter leopard, lion, cheetah, hyenas, although they're still in the menu, but most animals will prefer not to go for them because of those horns. They are very, very lethal. Apart from that, they can run really fast to get away from most predators. And also, before anything getting close to them, they have amazing senses. So it is almost impossible to get a buffalo if you're just walking that easily. And usually prides of lions have to really be big and very determined to go for buffalo. This is an animal that is quickly affected by droughts in case there is a drought, because it's a grazer. And so, it always does well where there is grass. They have a gestation period of 11 months, very much like our domestic cows. And they don't like mingling or joining with other animals. Very few times you'll find warthogs or elephants amongst them, but usually that is when there is plenty to graze on and maybe at the mash. The other kind of herd we have is the bachelor, where it is only, males that have reached maturity at the age of around 6, 7. Well, it's been a fantastic morning for me. Hope the same for you. Yes, and from all my fellow guides all over Africa, all I can say is bye-bye and see you this afternoon.